These Jaylen Brown talks have gotten way out of hand. So Bobby Marks said this today. I had an analytics guy tell me we view Jaylen Brown as the seventh best player on a basketball team. So you mean to tell me a guy who averaged this past season a career high in points, a career high in assists. He matched his rebound total at 7 rebounds. The last time he averaged that was back in the 2022-23 season, and he shot 47% from the field, almost 35% from three. A roster that was expected to tank this season, not expected to even sniff the playoffs or even be at the top of the Eastern Conference. A Celtics team that ended up winning, what was it, 56 games, if I'm not mistaken? Yep. Second in the Eastern Conference. That guy, where if he ends up getting traded, is going to be the seventh best player. What are we even doing here? I honestly believe there is an agenda out against Jaylen Brown. I mean, if you think about it, after he came up Finals MVP, what happened? He didn't make the Olympics roster. Now, granted, there's a lot of talent on that roster, but people have said, well, he doesn't rock with Nike. That could be affecting his opportunities. Jaylen Brown's his own man. And I understand that some Celtics fans were upset because he went on live stream and said this was his best season 24 hours after losing to Embiid. And the thing is this, you're going to say things that might be interpreted a different way, but he did clarify that and said, the organization knew what I meant. Here's the thing, when it comes to these Jaylen Brown trade rumors, I want him to stay in Boston because you have to look at it from this perspective. If you trade Jaylen Brown, you lose a talented player. I do believe if he gets traded, he is going to be motivated. He's going to have a fire like we've never seen before. Losing him just to create flexibility and rebuild the roster where you can get a talented second option, you hope you can bring that in, is risky. I would rather see the Boston Celtics figure this whole thing out. It's like a puzzle where you're trying to piece it all together. And obviously, it's not going to be easy in the process. I think about the times where Kobe Bryant and Shaq got traded. He went through a long process before he got back to the finals, got embarrassed in a game 6 against the Celtics, but then won back-to-back championships after that. It was fascinating to watch. It was sweet to watch because we saw Kobe go through the struggles. And yes, as a Boston fan, it's hard for me to say, yeah, trade Jaylen Brown. I don't think it makes any sense. I understand some Boston media saying, well, we got to have flexibility with the new CBA. I would rather you figure it out with the roster you have right now. You have been to 2 NBA finals with Tatum and Brown. You've been to multiple Eastern Conference finals. Yes, the past 2 seasons have been disappointing, but this season was considered a gap year before the unexpected return of Jason Tatum. You got Keita, who filled out a role at the center position. Hugo Gonzalez looks promising. You've got Jordan Walsh, who showed some promise as well. And then you look at the other guys like Baylor Shireman. All we got to do is improve around the roster. We just need another center, another athletic wing, and maybe a speedy guard. So Derek White isn't in a position where he has to play on-ball defense. He can be more of that help defender where he thrives in. I would rather them figure it out. You know how much sweeter it would be if we saw Tatum and Brown win a championship together again in the next 3 seasons or 5 seasons, or however long it may take? That would be phenomenal to watch as a Boston fan. So for me, I look at this and go, keep Brown on the roster. Let's play it out. Let's figure things out. Yes, it's a CBA that we've never seen before, but it's not easy to win. Of course, you're going to deal with the Miami Heat. They got Giannis. It's going to get more competitive. That's basketball. That's sports in life. Teams are going to get better. But that's the beauty of figuring things out. You go through the process. You go through the grind. And I would just hate to see Brad Stevens to move on from Jaylen Brown after this season he just had because of some financial reason. I don't think that's the way you want to approach things. Ride it out. See what happens. You have 3 more years with Jaylen Brown. If the next 2 seasons don't work out and you decide to pivot, all right, that's fine. But see what you can do around the margins. Like, this roster is not that far away from getting back to the finals. The East itself is wide open. I said it in a video about the New York Knicks. Look at their run. Nobody expected them to get to the championship and make the finals. Now, I had them win the championship. I really did to start the season. But a lot of people are like, the Knicks are going to choke. They're going to, falter in the playoffs. And they were down 2 games to 1 against the Hawks, but they made that unbelievable run. So what I learned about this NBA season is all you need to do is click at the right time. Yes, you're going to have your struggles in the regular season. Everybody does. But if you're hitting your strides at the right time, which is playoffs, then you have a great shot of going all the way. So for me, I'm like, let's see what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can do together. They don't have Al Horford in that locker room. They don't have Drew Holiday in that locker room. But these guys are more grown up. They have more experience. They don't have those guys to lean on as vets. They're the vets now. Let's see how that plays out. To me, it's a challenge, and I want to see it in Boston. I just do because if they trade Jaylen Brown, it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie. That's a drop off in talent. I don't care who they get back. Yeah, you can say, "Oh, we got a center," and I think there was a report about the Blazers getting involved with trading for Clingan. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I want to see this team figure out. You still have some backup centers, Amari Williams. Maybe he'll turn out to be reliable, or maybe you flip these guys for another center in the middle of the season. Like we have to remember, Brown and Tatum went through a process where in the COVID year they had a disappointing season, and then that carried on into the middle of the season, and they had that unbelievable turnaround and made the NBA Finals. They figured it out. It wasn't easy. Yes, I know they lost to the Warriors, but it was fun to watch. And they battled. They were down 2-1, won a game 4 in Milwaukee, won a game 6 in Milwaukee, where Tatum just went off, and they won that game 7. They went up 3-2 against the Heat, and they lost game 6 in the building. They went to Miami and won a game 7. Sometimes things are never going to be that convenient for you. And I think as Boston fans, we have to remember, like, look, it's never going to be easy. This is competition. And I don't like this idea about how Jaylen Brown is being treated in the media. I love how he's firing back. He said in that, after that report was made, he says, state your source. I love the energy he's keeping, calling ESPN unethical. I have come to the conclusion with ESPN, it's a gossiping network. Like some of y'all feed into it so much, and Jaylen Brown hasn't come out and specifically said, I want to be traded. I know Brad Stevens is apparently shopping him around, or maybe they're just playing with y'all. I don't know. But I've come to the conclusion there's an agenda against Jaylen Brown. Absolutely disgusting. And to me, if I'm Brad Stevens, don't trade the guy. Figure out another way to improve this roster. Bring back Rob Williams III. See how it works out. Obviously, there's a risk because of his injury history, but he's played with Tatum before. He's played with Brown before. He's a reliable, I don't even say reliable. He could be a reliable backup center for you. You can say, oh, it's a risk. Well, the Knicks had Mitchell Robinson. He's had durable issues, but it worked out this time around. There's going to be risk whatever acquisition you make next. But that's the beauty of building a contender and getting to the mountaintop again. This agenda against Brown is just absolutely ridiculous. And if I'm Brad Stevens right now, I'm like, bro, he's going to be motivated. He's going to be fired up. Let's back off these ideas of Jaylen Brown being traded. Let him come out next season and we'll see what happens. And it's going to be scary, especially the things about Tatum. Like I saw reports about they had the Ringer top 15 players right now. He's not even a top 10 right now. I'm like, are you guys smoking something? Jason Tatum to me is arguably a top 5 player in the NBA. You can argue me all you want, but he's got the accomplishments. He's got big game moments in the playoffs. I know he didn't play really well in the NBA Finals, but he can make up for that. We've seen guys play poor in the finals and bounce back. To me, this whole thing against Jaylen Brown is ridiculous. And if I'm Stevens, keep him around and just figure out how you can build a true contender. And I'd rather just see Brown and Tatum win another ring together because it would be so special and fun to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I want to hear your thoughts about the media reports against Jaylen Brown. Do you think there's an agenda against him? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.